Hey, HR friends, we did it. We made it to the 4-3 emotional 6.5 day overview. So, what we like to do here is just take a little extra time to look at this entire sequence so you can kind of prepare for what's coming here. Okay. So, the first thing we always talk about is the unseen polarity moments. We exist in a sentient space-time reality, and this sentient space-time reality is made possible by interconnected frequencies. Now, when we decoded the mathematics of our existence, it allowed us to map out these electromagnetic patterns. And what these patterns do is they're activating our defensive design. You see, we always knew that we had a defensive design, but we had a fight or flight mechanism that influences our decisions. What we didn't realize is there's an unseen pattern of electromagnetic agitations that activates our defensive design. And what this pattern does is it literally organizes chaos. It organizes all of our stress and all of our chaotic events through our defensive reactions. So what we do is we show you when this pattern is going to elevate, when it's going to activate your first person, which is all the people that you deal with on the day-to-day basis. These are your family members, your coworkers, your community members, okay? We also show when there's going to be agitation to your third person perspective. That's how an individual sees the bigger picture. We're all designed to see it differently. We all want to see different outcomes in the world. And when these elevate, what it's going to do is it's going to have us fight for our opinions or argue with other people, and what we want to do here is we don't want to fall victim to our defensive design at all. Now, this last one, the magenta or the combined, this is these two stresses added up. Why'd we add them together? Because stress is messy. If you get upset with somebody at work and then you get home, it's going to be hard not to be upset. Or if you're at home and you see something on the news you don't like, I mean, that's hard not to, take things out on the people around you if you're not feeling your best. So stress is definitely messy, and we really encourage people to look at this magenta one. Okay. Now, four is the number. Four is the number that if it gets up to a level four, that's really putting a lot of internal pressure on everybody. This isn't just one or two individuals. We're all being tested like this. Now, when you get into our software and we show you how this works, it will affect different people differently depending on the day. But overall, everyone is still receiving this. If it hits a level four, it's a level four. Okay. Now, is it going to bother you if it's at a level one or a level two? Yeah, anytime your defensive mechanisms are engaged. That's something that you really don't want to have altering your decision process, because what that does is it's making your stress that's accelerating your aging and causing your diseases. So any level on this pattern is concerning, but four and above, that's a little bit more. Now you can see this sequence as we look at it. We've got day one, then we've got day two, we've got day three, we've got day four. So our first 4 days, we're really under that number four. Okay. It doesn't start to get spicy here until five, six, 6.5. So we got a little breathing room on this one, that's a good thing. Now, we're coming out of awareness. The 4-4 really wasn't that strong either. So hopefully you don't have a lot of leftover stress and a lot of leftover baggage, because the first 4 days of this sequence, at least maybe for day one, get through day one, make sure you stay calm because we've got a little bit of a hurdle here. But for two, three, and four, we would really suggest strategizing on how you're going to talk through your stress with people that maybe you have unresolved problems with. These are going to be the days to try to focus on that. When we get closer to the end of the sequence and when this starts to elevate, can you talk with people then? Well, you can, but this is going to be much harder for you and much harder for the people you're trying to work your stress out with. So if you can organize it to do it during these days two, three, and four, that would be optimal. Okay. Now, as always, these unseen polarity moments, they're activating our defensive design and they're trying to stop us from completing the objective. Again, we exist in a space-time construct. There is an objective. If we do the objective, there's a reward. Now, we simplify this. These are the governing frequencies, and these frequencies not only make everything that exists, but they connect to our bodies and they act as a biofeedback system. So, as long as we're not letting our defensive design control us, if we can overcome our defensive design and we can decide to get along with every member of the team, family we come from, and all the families we share this existence with. And if we can overcome our defensive design and not convince ourselves that we're more important than any other person and that we're all equal and we should all invest in strategies to create equality. As long as you do those two things, which requires you to overcome your defensive design, you'll be in perfect balance with the governing frequencies. You see, this is kind of a demented existence if you think about it, right? We're designed to be defensive. We're designed to make mistakes. And then when we make mistakes, it convinces us to go against these governing frequencies, which then punish us, which are actually teaching us. Okay. So I know that's again, it's a little bit on the morbid side, but understanding the rules really gives us an advantage here. So if you want to slow aging, if you want to reverse disease, and then as always, please remember there's reward. If you make a commitment to the team and if you make a commit to balance your routine and you do this till your last day in the simulated experience, okay? You get out of the negative feedback loop we're in. You get to go to a positive feedback loop. So that's really the reason that you'd want to do this. Now, the testing sequence, we're going to look at this, but you can see that left upper in this next 6.5 day sequence is actually tested pretty consistent and pretty heavily. Why do I say that? Well, look, it's at a number 4 and it's above the number 4 between days 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So when you see a sequence that's above a 4 and it goes on for days, then we're going to say that during this sequence, we're going to worry a little bit about that left upper quadrant. People are going to notice that because if they're unbalanced here on either one of these relationships, which a lot of us are, then you're going to have a little bit of accelerated damage up here. All right. So when we look at the upper right, you can see that this is staying below the 4 almost the entire sequence. Same thing here with the lower left. Day one's a little high, but then we kind of drop off. It's the lower right you're going to have to worry about. This one's pretty much above a 4 for the first 2, 3, 3.5 days here, and then it's going to drop off and come back up. So we're just giving you a hint or a little bit of a preview to what's coming here. Now, when we get to the dailies, there's also alignments that we have to worry about. But for this overview, we're not talking about those. So that's pretty much it here. You kind of got the rundown of what it is we're supposed to do. This is the challenge. And the good news is this. The 4-3 is not going to be as challenging as what's coming up here. When we get to the 4-2 and we get to the 5-1, get your seatbelts ready. Okay. So again, really kind of just stay focused, try to stay calm. Let's try to work through this. We already said too, upper left and lower right are going to get tested. So really think about those relationships that are connected on either side here. But in reality, all these relationships are interconnected. So really, you just got to commit to everybody and you really got to start changing your routine on a day-to-day basis. If you're not changing your routine, then don't expect anything around us to change either. That's just how that works. All right. Thanks for watching this overview, and we'll see you on the Detailed 24. Check you there.